Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Keeping It Real. I'm David King.
I'm Fred Cilbrith.
And I'm Dave Ryan.
And guys, here we are. Well, as you can see, folks, we have the American flag in the background today to pay tribute and honor to the men and women who basically fought for our freedom because, well, today being Memorial Day. And the thing is, for me, I like Memorial Day a lot, along with the 4th of July. For the simple fact, without all these guys, we wouldn't be sitting here. Just off the top, to start the show, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for these men and women who basically fought for us to have the freedom to be here tonight, to do what we're doing right now.
That's right. They gave up their lives. They gave up their life and limb to keep this country free, and we can't thank them enough. We really can't thank them enough. But the best we could do is remember them a few times a year, because
we should always remember them, not just a few times a year. You know, even when it's not a holiday. You know, they're always overseas. You know, you got to think about the sacrifice they make. We make sacrifices, but nothing to the level of the men and women.
True, definitely.
And the Marines and the Navy and the Army and the Air Force, who they leave their families behind. So people that they never meet, they don't even know, can have the freedom to either hate them or love them.
Right, okay.
You know, to have that freedom.
Right.
And like you said, that is a big honor. I mean, Fred, what about you? You know,
I had my grandfather be in the Air Force from, I think, 1955 to 1963. He was part of the Korean War and the Vietnam War, but he never went over in Vietnam.
I mean, that's good.
So,
I mean, you know, at least he didn't get hurt. But I mean, the fact that he signed up to be over there, you know, that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, it does.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, I like doing the whole cookout thing.
Right.
And, you know, speaking of cookouts, anybody here go have a cookout or anything?
Absolutely, we did. We had a cookout yesterday. We had cooked some hamburgers and hot dogs, usual stuff. Very nice. Yeah. The food just seems to taste better on the grill sometimes. It's such a nice change.
That is really true. But I mean, you know, Fred, I'm sorry, I forgot about you. You sitting over there in the quiet zone today. I mean, tonight. Why are you so quiet?
I don't know why I'm so quiet, Dave.
Well, don't worry, you know, you're not gonna get bombed.
No.
Better not.
You know, it's just a touchy subject. You know, not really, but it can be sometimes.
I mean, it can be. I mean, for me, you know, Memorial Day or Veterans Day, all that, it goes beyond just, like you said, one day. I mean, I go back to the beginning of time with, you know, the Revolutionary War and all that.
Your favorite war, your two favorites. You got Revolutionary and then the Civil War.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you got to think about even them who made the sacrifice. You know, they was fighting for, you know, so the country could be a whole. You know?
They're fighting for liberty.
Right.
Back then, right. And we still are.
Never mind the war today.
Exactly. But like Dave said, we still are fighting for liberty in a way today. You know, they protect our country from terrorists and you know, and all that other, you know, stuff that they do.
Well, not only that, our men and our soldier men and women are not only fighting for us, but they're fighting for the countries that they're already in, like such as Iraq.
That's true too.
That's a really they need our help, and they're getting the help too.
Did you ever go to like Washington D.C. and see all the monuments and everything?
I have been to Washington D.C., folks.
I did.
It is beautiful.
It is.
Did you see the? I saw the Vietnam Wall. The amount of names on that granite in D.C. is unbelievable.
Exactly. I mean, like you said, in the cemetery.
Yeah. Arlington Cemetery.
There's a mock-up of one in Milford at the Parsons Complex. It's the Parsons Government Center. It's the former Milford High School building. It's in the auditorium. They dedicated that part of the building to the veterans. And one of these days I want to go in there and videotape it.
There's a
nice.
I think there's a plaque and a memorial that's down the street from here that deals with like World War II and the Vietnam War and the Korean War. Well, there's a whole bunch of names on that plaque that's on.
I mean, I got a question for both of you guys. We've had a lot of wars over the history of time. Which war do you guys feel, for each of you, were the worst war? Now, everybody got their like, okay, well, I think this one is. I feel this one is. Well, Fred, let's start with you. What do you think? What was the worst war that we've had?
I think the worst war we had was World War II.
World War II.
Yeah, I would say World War One. That's when everything was more crude. But there's no such thing as a good war. Let's face it. You know.
No, I never
you know
said there was a good war. I mean, there's nothing. Folks. There's nothing
I don't have
positive
a favorite war.
about war because no matter what side you're on, casualties.
Yeah.
Numbers go within thousands. I mean,
war's bad. That's
for me to pick one, I would have to say I'm gonna say the Revolutionary War. And my reason for that one is because it was fought on our soil in your own home. Like literally, they can go in your home and be shooting in your living room.
I thought you would have said the Civil War.
Actually, what?
The Revolutionary War,
that was bad.
Civil War, those wars. They were like literally in your living room fighting.
Yeah. Actually, the Civil War would really have to be my.
Actually, there's
a
story about the Revolutionary War and the Civil War. I think it happened on both occasions. Mm-hmm. People used to go out and picnic on the actual battlefield and have full blown picnics, folks.
It was
while watching.
They used to really feel that it was an event. This was the beginning of after war, and they feel that war was. Oh, it's an event. It's like a show. Yeah. Little did they come to find out that war, like you said, there's nothing, how you say, pretty about war. Because no matter what side you're on, it's terrible either way.
Right.
Did you ever go to Gettysburg?
I'm sorry?
Did you ever go to Gettysburg?
I never went to Gettysburg, but yes, that war is very, it was very, very brutal. I don't know, between that one and World War II, I'm kind of a toss-up. Now that I'm thinking about them two, between Gettysburg and World War II.
Gettysburg was a battle. That was a part of the Civil War.
Right. Yeah. But that battle was like, it felt like a war in itself, like just by itself.
It really was, yeah. They've got some good documentaries on it.
Definitely.
On TV that I've seen before.
Really
so
good.
And they got documentaries on the war now. If you go back and
my only thing with the war now is like, it's like I feel you don't know who you're fighting anymore. No,
literally, you even hear that from like old guys in the
like for example, like back then, you know, when it was the North versus the South kind of thing. The South were gray, we were blue.
Right.
The Revolutionary War, the British were red, we were blue.
Right.
And now it's like the kids are shooting at you.
Right.
Because
they're taking the kids and they're like making them militarized when they're kids.
But the thing is, you don't even know who's like. What I'm saying is, it's not soldier versus soldier.
No, not anymore. No, it's not.
Like civilian versus soldiers.
Right.
Yeah, and it's pretty bad. You don't know what you're going up against.
Well, you don't know what you're fighting for, regardless, because back when it all started.
Well, you're fighting to protect from weapons of mass destruction and terrorists, all that.
I mean, basically.
But I just think it's sad, personally. Sorry to cut you off, but I think it's sad when you got a 10-year-old with an AK-47.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I mean, back when the Iraqi war started, back in like 2000, 2001, it was fought over two things: weapons of mass destruction and oil.
Right.
But so was the Gulf War.
You're right.
Yep.
In 1991. So you really don't know who you're fighting for or what you're fighting for.
And I wish I could sit here and tell the folks at home that one day, we're not gonna have war anymore. But I don't feel that's gonna ever come, because. So
you don't think we're ever gonna be out of Iraq?
I'm not talking about just Iraq. War in general.
Yeah, war. Period. That's it. Plain and simple.
Because it's like we get out of one problem and there's another problem. Like you said, America likes to help other countries as well, which I think is a really good thing. But I mean, and I'm talking about war, not just with the American troops, even though I do appreciate what they do, and Memorial Day is for them. But I'm also talking about soldiers that fight in other countries for their respective countries.
Right.
The Mexican soldiers, the Canada soldiers.
Well, there's two sides to every coin.
But
so if you
either way you look at it, going across the globe, war is not nice no matter what it is.
Yeah, it's all ugly. Yeah.
The problem is the world can never be at peace, and You know, and that's pretty sad. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
Do you ever think we're going to be at peace with the world in general?
what you mean, American people or just?
I mean the whole thing.
I don't believe so. No, I doubt it very much.
For example, you're a peaceful guy. You want to make peace, but there's always that guy over here. He's just sour because you're making peace.
Right.
You
Why
know,
should one bad apple spoil the rest?
Right. One bad apple goes and rotten other apples, and then here we go again, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and no matter what you do, it's like a revolving door. You know, it just goes around and around and around.
Yeah,
and around.
everybody gets an opinion, and that's it, and that's how it all starts.
Right.
Yep.
You know, so I don't think it will ever personally stop. Although it'd be nice for it to stop.
Right.
But I don't see that happening. I mean, but coming back over to America, I like the fact, I mean, I don't know about other countries, but I do love the fact that here in America we have memorials for them, we honor them, and they get holidays. But for me, I like all the soldiers, no matter if it's a holiday or not. I ran into this one kid, I don't know his name. I was walking my dog one night. I was going down the road of where I live. He had the Marine, suit on with the.
Oh, he was dressed up then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was coming home.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But his family didn't know. Well, when he was coming out the car, that he was here. Like he was surprising them coming home.
They do that all the time. You know, they sneak up on the civilians, but they can't sneak up on the enemy. What's up with that? You gotta sneak up on the enemy, not on the civilians.
But
I think it's great though when they do it though. It is great.
I saw him and I just said thank you out of nowhere, and he was like,
"Oh, that's good."
He looked at me at first like, "Huh?" And then I guess then he looked at his uniform and he was like, "Oh, I just do what I can." You know,
that's great.
But it's like that. I always
recognize them
and show them that respect
for
what they do. And it was great that for those who do get to come home and see their families again.
Right.
I mean, there was one guy. He was in Army fatigues. When I met him. I was walking to class in school, and he's like, "I know what it's like to have like my legs be bad and everything." And I was like, "Thanks." And he's like, "I said thank you for doing what you're doing." And he was nice enough and said, "Thanks for it." So
that's nice. Yeah.
I mean, I can only imagine what it must feel like. I mean, Freddie, I don't know if what you said. Your grandfather was. I don't know if you able to describe us. What do you say to your family before you go off to war?
I mean,
I don't know.
Well, that's why I asked Freddie.
I don't know, dude.
Did your uncle ever say, what it was, any last orders in a way before he goes overseas?
No, I mean,
or any encouragement?
To bring up another person in my family that fought in a war, it was my uncle Rob. Mm-hmm. He went over, I think, for a year and fought over when it was like 1996. So you're talking like Gulf War end of it, maybe. So, but I don't know what you really say to your family when you go off.
I mean,
that's got to be like traumatizing. But never mind the guys that come back and like suffer from all like PTSD and all this other stuff.
That's got physical, mental injuries.
That's got to be something.
And losing your limbs. I mean, how could we ever forget that? I mean, we always talk about having a disability. How about those who fought for our country who unfortunately then, they lose their limbs and legs. So, I mean, I'm happy that, I forgot the name. They have the hospital for them, for the
Veterans Hospital?
Association Hospital.
Yes. And now, with all the technology, like, you can get prosthetic legs, arms, and, to have that, somewhat of that normal life back. And let me tell you something, I've seen them do some incredible things, like they can run and go swimming.
They can run faster than we can.
Yeah, right? It's like watching Terminator just run
the Bionic Man or something.
You got your personal cyborg right here.
But I think that's kind of cool, But I have the utmost respect for that. I mean,
it offers a lot of hope for them, is what it does.
It does.
It offers a lot of hope. That's the main thing, to instill the hope, so that they can get back on their feet and be just as good, if not better than ever. And that's what we want to try to see here.
Right. My biggest argument is that it's hard for them to get regular jobs when they come out of
Yeah, sometimes it is.
Yeah.
But if they acquire the right skill set from the military, they'll be hired very quickly.
Well, and that's the thing that the military and all they do as well. You know, you see it on commercials how you can get an education also while you're over there.
That's true
as well. So it's not just okay. We're gonna give you a gun and start shooting you.
Here's the other
thing. They also
though.
do an educational. You can go and then become a doctor, or you can also study in other fields, even though you're a soldier.
Like you come from the military or the armed forces, they can pay for your schooling. Because I know a couple of guys that go to school at Housatonic, but the military pays for their schooling and their finances for school, their
GI
tuition
grant.
and everything else.
Yeah, they get the GI grant. It's a great thing.
Right.
I mean, for me, if I was going off to war, I think I would want to spend a lot of time with the people that I care about. And for me, I'd be honest, I'd have a 50-50 feeling. Like, it'd be like, I'm happy that I'm going to do something for my country, and I'm scared at the same time.
Well, I think any soldier that signs up or volunteers or is drafted into that.
I don't know. We haven't done a draft.
Well, no.
We haven't had it that bad. We have not had a draft.
Usually it's volunteering, but anybody that volunteers their services for that's got to be, they got to be terrified as when they go over there.
The biggest heroes of the whole military army to me that I give the most props to, the women.
Yes,
the women.
Because
let's not mistake it. These women have children, and for mommy to go off to war.
Oh, that's heavy. That's so bad.
For daddy's little girl,
you got the stay-at-home dad.
Well, not just that. For how about if this was your daughter, and knowing that you may not see your daughter again?
I'd be terrified.
Yeah,
right.
I would be too. I'd be sick.
I give props to all of them, but to the women. And remember, the women, they have to volunteer on their own to sign up. So every woman that signed up wasn't like, okay, we need you. They literally said, I want to be a soldier.
Right.
And that takes a lot of courage.
More than I could ever imagine, that's for sure.
I mean,
definitely.
Exactly. So I mean, it's tough for a woman to leave her kids and say, hey, mommy's going off to war. I'm not going to be back for 6 months to a year. So
then they got to feel bad because they're missing birthdays, holidays, and that.
Oh, sure.
I mean, all soldiers feel that way. They miss, like I said, the sacrifices that they make, the birthdays, the holidays, all of it. A lot of them don't even see. A lot of them go off to the army, and their girl is pregnant with their kid, and they never even seen their kid was born. They never, like physically, they've seen pictures, but they couldn't even be there when their kid was born or see their kid take their first step.
Yeah.
Because they've been overseas so long. Or like I said, even if you're a mother, I mean, you can't be there for your kid's prom. You can't be there for your kid's, ballet recital, or graduation ceremony.
There's been a couple times where, I guess somebody was getting married, and the person was at war. Need to have special leave to come back just for the wedding to get walked.
Well, yeah, because you can't just like, hey, look, I'm gonna go off the wedding, so I'm out.
That's how they surprise their families. They get the leave, then they come over, they come back home, and they surprise everybody.
I mean, I don't know. I like the surprise thing.
I think that's very nice.
I do too. I really do, because you didn't expect them and hit her, and the emotion, is like. I didn't think I'd ever see you again.
Indescribable.
Not like, hey, I seen you last week. How you doing?
Right.
It's more like, wow, I didn't know if I was ever gonna see you again.
Yeah, the best part's when they drop in in the classrooms and the gym classes and stuff.
Little kids go nuts.
Well, they're heroes.
Their kids go.
Well,
nuts.
I mean, to be honest, they're heroes, and they're heroes. Like I said, to myself, to to everybody. To put on that uniform, it takes a lot of courage.
That's right.
So, of course, you walk into... I mean, they are the real G.I. Joe. Not just an action figure.
That's right.
Yeah. They are the real G.I. Joe. I mean, they're really going into combat. Mm-hmm. Without them doing their heroic thing, the whole idea of Army military movies would never happen.
That's true.
These stories... really happened. All the movies they have ever put all came with that.
Yeah.
And this is why, for those fallen soldiers, why Memorial Day, like today, the 4th of July, why that happens, because of that. You know, fighting for our independence, for our freedom of speech, you know, everything. You name it in that Constitution, that's what they fight for.
We the people.
That's
Pretty
right.
much.
Obviously.
Well, they fight for the people.
Right.
You know, they fight for the people, you know, just like, you know, their job is hard, just like their commanding in chief, which would be the president. His job is hard. He's not fighting the war, but he's got to deal with everything.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, so him being the commander in chief of the army and military and all that is a lot of work as well. I know everybody has their own thing with the president, but that's why we also have President's Day.
Yeah.
You know, but to me, they're all tied together. You know,
Yeah.
because without our president making decisions, we were just doing whatever. Like, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
And the whole point of the Constitution wouldn't even be. It wouldn't mean anything
No,
And
it
some
wouldn't.
of the
without the
presidents-
president keeping it to be. To
And some
mean
of the
something.
presidents were actual soldiers. George Washington.
Very true.
Right.
You know, very true. Like, exactly. A lot of the. Matter of fact, the first couple of presidents were military soldiers.
Yeah, they
Lincoln.
were.
You know, George Washington and so forth. You know, but because they were great leaders on the battlefield, so they figured they'd be great leaders in office.
Yeah, it worked out.
And that's the whole point why we call the president the commander in chief.
Right.
Is because of that. You know, like you said, the president used to be
Right.
a military soldier, so he's like leading the troops without actually being on the battlefield.
Right.
So I respect the president as much as being a soldier. I mean, if I didn't have a disability, I would, like I said to you, I would like to have been in the Air Force. It's my favorite part.
So would I. I would have been a pilot. I would have been the guy in Top Gun. If you've seen that movie.
Oh yeah. Yes, I seen it.
I'd like to be one of the guys from like Red Tails or something, you know. What about you, Dave?
Oh yeah, I can picture me flying a $20 million plane, landing it on an aircraft carrier.
Okay, what's your favorite plane?
What's that?
What's your favorite plane?
Oh, the F-120.
I like the Black Hawk.
I'm partial because my grandfather used to work on these. He used to work on the engines for these fighter jets, the F-15.
The Harrier jets are even better. They hover. Those things are really good.
Nice.
I saw one down at the air show at Sikorsky's, Bridgeport, several years ago.
Yeah, I give courage to the Marines or the Navy SEALs because I'd be too scared to drown.
I would want to be a Navy SEAL.
I mean,
I'm scared of deep water, folks.
But I think the most toughest training is the Marines.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that between that and the
You got the
SEALs,
Coast Guard too. Don't forget about that.
Oh yeah, I mean the Coast Guard, you know,
Yeah, they keep our shore safe
definitely
from all sorts of crime and
that tries to come over.
chaos.
Well, no, they can't keep you safe from a hurricane.
Well, I was trying to think of something.
No, from like people that, how do you say, wants to transport drugs from across the water. That's what their job
Yeah,
is.
that's
to
what
keep
they
that
mostly
away.
do, right?
Like, you know, from the beaches of Miami that goes to Mexico and all that. That's their job. You said a hurricane.
Well,
Just messing with your friend. You know, but all their jobs, they, you know, between, you know, rather it's the Air Force, rather it's, you know, they all have their part, which keeps us safe. You know.
yeah, as long as they all work together, you've got a well-oiled machine.
Well,
And usually they do.
Well, they first of all, they have to work together because I
Right.
don't think they can go and be like, listen, here's my thing. I don't like
No.
you, so I'm not going to do this. I'm not patrolling this. I'm gone.
Right.
No, it doesn't work
But
that way.
That's
no.
why they have very strict discipline in the Army, very strict training. You know, it's not about how you feel about one another. It's for the greater good of protecting the country.
That's right.
Right.
And that's what all men and women have signed up for that are on that front line, you know. And yes, they know the risks, you know, but the reward, you know, is the simple fact that their families can live in freedom.
Right, exactly. It's
And
the
don't
ultimate
have to
reward.
worry about their house getting raided in by some terrorist or some pirate
Right.
that
And you
wants to
can't-
take over.
You can go to any other country in the world and you won't get the freedom you get here.
No, that's true.
That's
Absolutely
very,
not.
hey, that's very true.
I mean,
That's
I don't
true.
even think they even have facilities like this that are as common as it is around here.
Well, it's not even about facilities. Most countries do with the fact that we can actually say what we're saying right now,
Right.
and still
Freedom of
leave with our
speech.
head intact.
Right.
Freedom of speech, folks.
Right.
Freedom of speech.
First
yeah.
Amendment
The
of
fact
the
that we can leave with
Constitution.
our head intact, folks, that's a remarkable thing in itself.
Yep.
You know, you go to a lot of other countries and we saying what we're saying right now. We walk out of here, the last time you ever see us,
I mean,
Yeah, you get arrested for something.
or worse.
Yeah, true.
I mean, you also have
It
like
wouldn't be too good. Let's put it that
you
way.
also have the freedom of press. You can print things that you want to print.
Anything. I love,
Yeah,
I lo-
freedom is, you're not going to find freedom anywhere like we have here. That's all there is to it.
and that's why I said Memorial Day is a big thing to me, because I love having the freedom to do what I do and go where I want to go, and not have to look over my shoulder about somebody just gonna grab me and do whatever.
Right.
We've all seen the news. We all seen terrorists capturing Americans and torturing them,
Right.
Overseas and all that. I'm so glad that we don't have to worry about that, but we don't have to worry about that because of what they do for us every day and night. Not just during the day, every day and night.
Every day and night, yeah.
While we're asleep in bed, they're still on duty.
Right.
That's it.
They're 24/7 on the job.
Right.
They're not 9 to 5. Okay, punch
No.
in. I'm soldier today. Okay,
No,
when I get off of
of course
work,
not.
I'm done. No, they're always on duty. 3 in the morning, something's happening. They're getting up. So me and you tomorrow can go to school.
Yeah, they're all manning their post all the
Can
time.
hang out with our family,
Yep.
or could go to work. But either way,
Right.
they're on duty, so we can do that.
Okay,
Exactly.
my last question here is: do you think that a soldier is ever off duty even if they come back home?
No, because even when they're off duty, once you're a soldier, you're always a soldier, no matter if you're young or old. But eventually everybody passes, and Memorial Day and Veteran Day is a way to honor what they have done for us and those who are not here. But we're coming towards the end of the show, so Fred, anything you want to say?
I mean, I want to thank the Armed Forces, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines. You guys have done a great job, and I appreciate all that you do.
Dave?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for our freedom and your hard work and devoted service. I can't thank you enough.
And I just want to say, same thing like them, thank you for everything that you do. Keep up the great work, and God bless America. With that said, I'm David King.
I'm Fred Cilbrith.
And I'm Dave Ryan.
Thank you for watching. Have a good night.